Okay, here we have a breakdown of what were they like, again using the smile points. So with structure, the first thing we see, we've got a question and answer style throughout this whole poem. So all of these here are actually questions, and the end, all of these are all answers. So it kind of gives the feeling that someone's asking and someone's obviously responding, and we've got two very different tones throughout them. But what is also interesting is that at the very end of the answerer's questions, the answerer's responses, sorry, he actually does pose a question himself, and that's quite an interesting one because it shows us the futility of all the questioning. There's a lot of enjambment used throughout, so we hold here, for example, on the word ceremonies, so we really highlight that through the enjambment, and also with the idea of gardens. So some of these are words which really allow us to stop and really kind of think and take those words in. The cyclical questioning, so basically it starts with a question, what were they like, and also ends with that question, who can say. So basically this second question here is almost answering that first question up there. So the writer's done that in particular because the structure there is basically saying we don't know, and obviously this is the person who's responding saying we don't know because the person's asking the question because they don't know in the first place. So on to some of the meanings then. We've got the beauty of a people. We look at obviously what they were using here. The writer's asking this and obviously does know, and basically in their actual culture they had illuminated pleasant ways, etc, etc, and there's also something about their voice when they've got it says their voice was like a song somewhere, and there it is, their speech was like a song. So again, it's a beautiful, delicate, gentle people that are being discussed. One of the other meanings obviously is the concept of history and remembering. So basically the whole thing, what were they like, just that word, the word were there is this is a forgotten people, and it also questions or invites us to question, how did we know about them? How do we know what they were like? What is it of people that we do remember in history, and why do we remember certain people in history and not others? Vietnam is something that's close in current human conscious memory, but you can go time and time again, go to any library or any Google web page and just type in forgotten civilizations, and you'll come up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that aren't in the mainstream, like this one. We're also told here of the horrors of war. This is what this poem is about as well, where we've got the bombs coming in to smash and then destroy the family, and we've also got the burned mouth, etc., and we've also got charred bones that's just across here as well. So all of these are images of the horrors of war. We've also got, in contrast to that, actually the simple life where it was originally. We had like peaceful clouds being reflected in rice paddies and water buffalo stepping along terraces. So, and just normal fathers and sons telling tales. The sons aren't off playing PlayStation or running around with various nightclubs, etc. There's kind of more of a sense of a simple family life here, devoid of technology, which is probably it's open to being called a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you want to take in your essay. Images that we get a glorious and delicate culture here, again through the jade and silver for ornament, etc. We get the serenity, the calm peacefulness again in the clouds, and the word peaceful obviously, and the idea that these people were peasants. There's just kind of like a simplicity to their lives. They know what they're going to do, they know what they have to do, and again that's the same thing stretch for simple life there as well. Violence and warfare, I've already highlighted where those words are, but you want to pick them out again. For example, again, the word charred, and the word bombs, the word smashed, etc, etc, etc. Lots of repetition used throughout here. So obviously you've got the did at the beginning here for some of the first language technique, one of the first language techniques, should I say, and basically the idea of that being repeated there, it just means this person has lots of questions. Maybe it shows how little they know about them and how much they want to know about them. Maybe this is just a concept that they heard and they wanted to actually pick out on it. We've got onomatopoeia used slightly down here. There is an echo yet, and the idea is a perfect idea. It's like we just have, because an echo is something that you hear a little less of each time, and then basically the memory of these people is really fitting there, the onomatopoeia, because that's all we know of them. We'll probably know a little less each time. Every year that goes by, we'll know less and less and less. We've also got the metaphor of the actual rice, the peaceful clouds reflected in the paddies, and then later on the metaphor comes in is when bombs smash those mirrors. So mirrors is the metaphor, but it's referring to the paddies there. So paddies basically water, rice paddy, basically you've got like rice growing in an area and it's basically submerged mainly in water, and it's called a mirror there because obviously it's a large body of water. It has reflective qualities. Also the language here, if you do want to talk about it, obviously this is very formal for the most part, and you've noticed at the beginning it's very kind of short responses, but then as it goes on, he actually starts to kind of get a bit enraptured. It's almost as if the person answering seems to shift away and maybe take sides a little with the questioner, because at the end he ends with a question, and maybe he's kind of come away from his sir that he was being very regimented with at the beginning. So moving on then, what does it get us thinking about? Well, it gets us thinking about lost cultures first and foremost, and how certain people who've lived through war have had to deal with certain things. It also makes us think of the horrors of war in terms of the charred bones. I mean, if you have any idea how much you have to burn something to actually char it, then just thinking about, and I know this isn't a nice image, but the whole village is just burning to a cinder, obviously because some of the chemical weapons used in that war in particular were particularly horrid. Ask your history teacher about it. And also it might actually encourage us to travel. It might actually get us to think about going to these places, seeing historical sites, seeing what they were like, and just raising awareness, etc. So all of those points together you should be able to respond with and use, comparing and contrasting with smile points from other poems.